The House will come to order. Members, please take your seats. Sergeant at Arms.
The House is now in session. All persons not entitled to the privileges of the floor, please retire to the gallery.
The members will rise and be led in prayer by Reverend Corey T. Bland, pastor, Rocky Branch Baptist Church, Sutherland, and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, which will be led by the delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring.
Let us pray. Spirit of the living God, fall fresh on us. Descend anew upon this place, creator of the heavens and the universe, the source of justice and peace, compassion and mercy. Sanctify this chamber. Transform this capital into holy ground and make it worthy of the work being done here today. Let your divine presence rest upon these, your servant leaders. Grant them clarity of mind as they deliberate and decide matters that will shape the lives of all your children. Inspire them to do justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with you. And as they consider the hopes, needs, and longings of the people they serve, grant them the wisdom of Solomon, the patience of Job, and the courage of Esther. It's in thy righteous and holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. The members will answer the roll call by indicating their presence on the electronic voting board. Clerk will close the roll.
Mr. Speaker, a quorum is present.
Pursuant to House Rule 3, I have examined and approved the Journal of the House of Delegates for March 13, 2026. Motions and resolutions under Rule 39 pursuant to the provisions of Rule 40 are now in order. Does the clerk have any announcements or communication?
Not at this time, Mr. Speaker.
The delegate from Dinwiddie, Delegate Pope Adams.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for the purpose of an introduction.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today's invocation was delivered by Reverend Corey T. Bland. I ask that he please stand. Mr. Speaker, Reverend Bland is a native of Sutherland in Dinwiddie County and serves as the devoted pastor of the cathedral in the country, Rocky Branch Baptist Church. His life and ministry reflect a deep commitment to faith, scholarship, and service to others. A proud graduate of the Virginia State University, Reverend Bland earned both a Bachelor of Arts and a Master of Arts in History. During his time there, he also served as an adjunct professor, sharing his love of history and learning with the next generation of students. He later pursued theological training at the Samuel DeWitt Proctor School of Theology at Virginia Union University, where he earned his Master of Divinity. In recognition of his leadership and promise in ministry, he was also selected as a fellow of the Black Theology and Leadership Institute at Princeton Theological Seminary. A devoted husband to his wife, Kamiko, and father to Ryan and Anaya, Reverend Bland continues to inspire spiritual growth and community engagement among all he serves. Mr. Speaker, please join me in giving a warm house welcome to Reverend Corey T. Bland.
Welcome to the Capitol, and thank you for that prayer this morning. Clerk will announce the next order of business. I'm sorry, the delegate from Fauquier County, Delegate Weber. Hit these buttons.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I rise for a motion.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move that the body adjourn in the honor and memory of Robert Wayne Grove, and I'd like to speak to that motion if I could.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm going to be honest, I've been kind of dreading doing this particular motion, session, so bear with me as I give this. Mr. Speaker, this one is exceptionally hard. Very much like the empty seat to my left, Robert Wayne Grove, we called him Bobby, represented a kind of man we do not see nearly enough anymore. Simply put, they just don't make them like they used to. Bobby was born April 25, 1957, the son of Walter Grove and the late Elva Grove. A gifted student, he graduated magna cum laude from Virginia Tech before attending Penn State. But Bobby's real education and his true calling was never confined to a classroom. His life was spent studying, raising, and improving cattle. He spent decades helping shape White Ridge Farm into a respected Angus herd, always searching for cattle that fit his model. Fertile, low input, problem-free, maternally oriented Angus cattle with muscle and fleshing ability. Bobby thought deeply about the future of the breed, and he never hesitated to share his views if he believed something was not advancing it. And I heard about them often. For more than 40 years, Bobby served the cattle industry as a trusted ringman at sales across the region, taking real pride in helping fellow producers. That's how I got to know Bobby. He served on the Virginia Angus Association Board of Directors, including as president in 2004, and later on the Northern Virginia Angus Association Board. He was deeply committed to the next generation as well, helping manage the 4-H County 4-H Livestock Show and Sale for many years with his nieces showing livestock. In 2014, he was recognized as the Virginia Beef Cattle Improvement Association Seed Stock Producer of the Year, an honor that reflected not just his knowledge, but the respect he had earned across the industry. For the past 6 years, Bobby fought a relentless battle with cancer. It was a difficult road, marked by surgeries, treatments, setbacks. Yet through it all, Bobby remained determined and resilient. In fact, just before the accident that ultimately claimed his life, he had received a scan showing no evidence of cancer. He faced that battle the same way he approached everything else in life, with grit, curiosity, and the determination to take the responsibility of his own path. Mr. Speaker, I had the opportunity to see Bobby at the Fall Hereford sale not long ago, right before. In many ways, that is exactly where you would have loved to expect to find him, ringside, studying cattle, visiting with friends, and doing what he loved. There's an old saying among cattlemen, when God needs a good herdsman, he calls him home. Today we remember Bobby Grove as exactly that, an excellent herdsman, a sharp mind, a man of conviction, and a proud Virginia cattleman whose influence will live on in the pastures and herds he helped shape. He is survived by his sister Donna, his brother Thomas, and his nieces Caitlin Menifee and Jennifer Porter, and several great nieces and nephews who will carry on his memory. Mr. Speaker, Bobby Grove lived a life of hard work, quiet excellence, and a deep commitment to the cattle industry and the community around him. So, Mr. Speaker, I move today that the House adjourn in the honor and memory of Robert Wayne Grove.
The delegate from Fauquier County, Delegate Webbert, moves that when the House adjourns today, it do so in the honor and memory of Robert Wayne Grove. All those in favor of the motion shall rise. The resolution is agreed to.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Delegate from Patrick County, Delegate Williams.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. I rise for a motion.
The Doug has the floor.
Mr. Speaker, I would like to move that the House take up the only HR on the calendar, H.R. 393.
Clerk will report a resolution.
Commending resolutions laid on the Speaker's table. House Resolution 393, commending Braden Health.
Mr. Speaker, I move adoption of the resolution, and I request to speak to that motion.
Doug has the floor.
Mr. Speaker, I've been pretty quiet this session, but but I wanted to bring up something that sort of is, a cool arc of bipartisan legislation. And I'll take back just a second. This is about commending Braden Health. And back in 2017, you guys might remember a lot of this stuff, Pioneer Community Hospital in Patrick County closed its doors. And so we were struggling with health care. Nobody wanted to open them, et cetera. We were going to lose our license. If we lost our license, we lost our federal license. It was a big deal. But this body pulled together and extended that license to December 31st of 2025. Well, luckily, these awesome guys from Tennessee came in, and first time I met them, that we were looking around, and we had actually trespassed onto the property, and next thing you know, they're on top of the roof checking it out, see if it's good. And they were gritty, and they were ready to go, and they were excited. They dove in, and they bought the 63,000 square foot building, and they put $15 million into it, and there's not a cent of taxpayer money. They opened January 5th of this year, and we have now a 25-bed critical access hospital, an emergency department, radiology, a pharmacy, operating rooms, and over 150 jobs, many filled by Patrick County residents who were able to come home and work in their own community. Mr. Speaker, my constituents were told that they didn't matter enough, and Braden Health proved them wrong, and this body was a big part of that. So I asked, well, first of all, thank you, but I also asked my colleagues to join me in commending their extraordinary service to Patrick County and the Commonwealth. Thank you all.
Delegate from Patrick County moves that the House adopt House Resolution 393, commending Braden Health. All those in favor of the motion will say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The motion is agreed to. Thank you. Delegate from Buckingham, Delegate Garrett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for purposes of motion.
The delegate has the floor.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we adjourn. When we adjourn today, we do so in the honor and memory of Lieutenant Colonel Brandon Shaw. Brandon Shaw was a proud son of rural Virginia, having been born in the Stanton area. He dedicated his life to service, Mr. Speaker, attending the Old Dominion University, where he took ROTC courses and was commissioned an officer in the United States Army. And when he retired from the military, he returned to Virginia to teach at Old Dominion University, where they commission more Army officers than any other institution in Virginia except Virginia Tech and VMI. This past week, Mr. Speaker, Colonel Shaw, who was given the very, very best weapons to defend us on foreign soil, lost his life taking, by my understanding, 4 bullets while defending ROTC cadets at Old Dominion University under a policy that denied him of any weapons to defend himself or his students. Men like Brandon Shaw are men upon whose shoulder this nation stands taller every day for the sacrifice that they make of their life, and I cover only one aspect of his extraordinary life, that spent in a uniform. And yet, Mr. Speaker, there are so many more that we will undoubtedly learn about from those who knew him and loved him in the days to come. So, Mr. Speaker, with that in mind, I ask that today we adjourn in the honor and memory of a Virginia hero, Lieutenant Colonel Brandon Shaw.
The delegate from Buckingham, Delegate Garrett, moves that when the House adjourn today, it do so in the honor and memory of Lieutenant Colonel Brandon Shaw. All those in favor of the motion shall rise. The motion is agreed to. Pursuant to House Rule 30, the journal shall reflect that the following members are away on pressing personal business and are granted leave from today's session. Delegates Carnegie, Carroll, Clark. Clerk will announce the next order of business.
Mr. Speaker, we just received a communication from the Senate.
The clerk will report a resolution.
Senate Joint Resolution 141, making plans for the colonial capital in the city of Williamsburg, a commemorative session. The House has already adopted its own version of this legislation.
Delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Everything's been explained by the clerk, so I move the adoption of this resolution.
All those in favor of adopting Senate Joint Resolution 141 will say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The resolution is agreed to.
Mr. Speaker, members of the House, in the second portion of the morning hour given today's calendar is not applicable.
Clerk will announce the next order.
Third portion of the morning hour legislation by for the day, and I'm not aware of any such requests.
Clerk will announce the next order of business.
And the fourth and final portion of the morning hour reserved for member requests for points of personal privilege. Kindly use your request to speak button to get into the queue.
Delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for a point of personal privilege.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. During our time here, 60 days, almost 24 hours a day, every day, none of us have had the time or capacity to do everything on our own. Luckily, we are not alone in our offices. We have the help of our staff, session aides, administrative assistants, chiefs of staffs, and more to enable us to do our jobs to serve our Commonwealth. For every minute we spend in committee meetings responding to our constituents and working on our bills, our staff is making sure that we are prepared with all the information we need. They're with us every step of the way. And for that, Mr. Speaker, we owe them a sincere gratitude, and I ask members to join me in thanking all of our staff.
The delegate from Middlesex, Delegate Hodges.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for a brief, hopefully brief, point of personal privilege.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And ladies and gentlemen of the House and Mr. Speaker, I'm going to stand on this floor and talk about something today that probably no one has ever really talked about, and that's lightning bugs and homemade wine. So, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to speak about these things because, with the lightning bugs and growing up with friends and cousins and family and catching those lightning bugs was something very special. It was a cherished time that brings fond memories to me and to my family and my friends and my cousins. And, growing up where we gather together, camping, swimming, hiking, fishing, hunting, we built bonds without cell phones. That's something that we don't do today. But we're able to do that, and especially in rural Virginia. So, graduating with a class of only 60 kids in West Point, it was a special time. We built bonds and friendships that last today. And when grown men get together quite often, and we do an annual 23-mile canoe trip every year, and get together, it's like time never stopped. And in doing that, when grown men say, hey, I love you, brother, that means something. And those bonds today still can't be broken. We have class reunions every 5 years, and it's not just about our class. It's other classes come as well. Because we built those relations and we built those bonds, Mr. Speaker, in rural Virginia. Now, one of my biggest challenges here in the General Assembly that I tell constituents all of the time is educating folks up here about the life in rural Virginia. And it is a challenge because, Virginia is a very large state and we live differently. And even educating others in rural Virginia how different the rural coastal region is, where I represent, over 1,000 miles of shoreline, flooding, resiliency, where 76% of the workforce drives out of the district to work every day, to Northern Virginia, to Richmond, to Hampton Roads, to Williamsburg, and it leaves behind a workforce between 9 to 5 where we have some of the lowest wages in the state. Some of the employers in Northern Virginia employ more folks than my entire district in 6 counties. Now, Mr. Speaker, living that lifestyle in rural Virginia is worth protecting. And when it comes to the homemade wine, I grew up next door to my grandparents of Polish descent. Most everything we ate came from the garden, and they could make some dandelion wine, Mr. Speaker, and it was good. And when my grandmother would give her ceramic classes, those little ladies would sit in there, and you could hear the laughter and the fun. Then my other grandfather, if it grew and it could be fermented, he made wine out of it. Worst case of chiggers I ever had was picking elderberries for him. So elderberry, grape wine, dandelion wine, and even onion wine, Mr. Speaker, which was actually pretty darn good. So, Mr. Speaker, you know, these memories in rural Virginia really underscore the threats from urban Virginia. And one of the greatest challenges we have is just putting a shovel in the ground for economic development. We need to come together, urban and rural, to make the best choices for our rural areas, especially in our rural coastal region where these challenges really are an issue as far as economic development. Now I'm going to play something, Mr. Speaker, very brief, if I can get it going. Many of you this may remember this.
Urban or rural, Kathy?
Oh, sorry. There we go.
I don't know what they mean.
Urban or rural. Mr. Speaker.
Well, you know it. I mean, you married him. What are you saying?
Heck, he's urban.
He's urban.
Yeah.
How long has he been that way?
About 2 months.
2 months he's been. Do you think there's anything he can do about it?
He went to a doctor.
Oh, he did? Did the doctor give him anything for his urban?
He gave me something.
Well, thank you for indulging me with that, Mr. Speaker. But I say that, Mr. Speaker, because sometimes I think we have to realize who we are. And I guarantee if our urban folks went to the doctor, he'd give them something. And I guarantee, Mr. Speaker, it would be an evening of coming down, catching lightning bugs, and sipping on some homemade wine. So thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Delegate from James City County, Delegate Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for a point of personal privilege.
Doug has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to express my utmost gratitude to the individuals keeping us safe, our Capitol Police. You may not know this. The Virginia Division of Capitol Police is the oldest police agency in the country. It was established in Jamestown in 1618 to protect our then future country's earliest leaders. And as the capital of Virginia moved to my district of Williamsburg and finally here in Richmond, the Division of Capitol Police followed. Colonel John McKee and the Capitol Police officers who have been looking out for us for the past 60 days and year-round have carried on a 408-year legacy of vigilance, courage, and dedication. It is because they are great at what they do that we are able to meet safely every day, go home to our families, and serve the people of the Commonwealth. So I hope all my colleagues will join me in a round of applause for our amazing Capitol Police officers.
Thank you to our Capitol Police. We appreciate you. The delegate from Albemarle, Delegate Laufer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for a point of personal privilege.
Doug has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to recognize the dedication and service of the man standing on the dais below you. Paul, that's you. Clerk Paul Nardo. Okay, I'll go fast. as well as the many clerks on the dais and the IT staff, the dozens of other clerks keeping the House of Delegates running. They work on our subcommittees and committee meetings. The clerk's role goes far beyond announcing bills, calling votes, and pronouncing hard words. The Honorable Mr. Nardo and his staff are directly responsible for ensuring that all of this body runs well. And I also want to recognize and say thank you to the clerk's office for communicating some of our most personal moments of joy, being of births of children and grandchildren, as well as the moments of heartache, deaths of family members, etc. And I want to say a personal thank you to the clerk's office for the cards and flowers at my own dad's funeral. It meant so much to me and to my family, and I'm very grateful that you take the time to make sure that we all remember we're all people, and these moments of joys and heartache can be shared. So I just also want to say thank you for being the heart and soul of this house, and for the IT staff for honestly making sure that all the printers work all the time, which is really incredible. And to the clerk himself, we just appreciate all of you. So, Mr. Speaker, I ask every member of this body to rise in appreciation of our clerk, the clerk staff, and the IT staff. Thank you.
I want to thank all of the staff. He's okay. Delegate from Newport News, Delegate Price.
Mr. Speaker, I rise for a point of personal privilege.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This session has been historic in so many ways. We have passed landmark legislation. We have pressed through 60 days of constant work on behalf of the residents of the Commonwealth, and we've done it as one of the most diverse bodies to ever do it. And Mr. Speaker, none of this could be done without you, sir. Day in and day out, you are tough but fair, and though you may have been a first, you are truly one of the best to do it. So thank you so much for your dedication, tenacity, and sometimes niceness. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
They don't think that. Thought we were cool. The delegate from Buckingham, Delegate Garrett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise on a point of personal privilege.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I spoke earlier, and when we adjourn today, we'll adjourn in the honor and memory of Lieutenant Colonel Brandon Shaw, and I wish we weren't. I wish we weren't, because he should be alive, Mr. Speaker. I spoke in speaking to his legacy, his courage, to the fact that we armed him as a nation with the very best weapons of war to defend our nation on foreign soil, and then, Mr. Speaker, we very intentionally, in chambers such as this one, disarmed him when he came home. You see, Mr. Speaker, there have been bills carried in this body that would allow people like Colonel Shaw, who had 2 Bronze Stars and 3 combat deployments, incredible service and courage and training, to carry weapons in defense of our children on college and university campuses. Mr. Speaker, if a university would have me on their campus and I were a professor of political theory, I would use what happened in Virginia and Michigan this week as a case study in just how horribly wrong arguably well-intended policy can go. Let's walk through the facts. Muhammad Jalloh, the murderer of American hero and son of Stanton, Virginia, Brandon Shaw, had been arrested and convicted as a terrorist. And Mr. Speaker, while our governor still hasn't called this terrorism, I will, because we know he was a terrorist. He shouted Allahu Akbar before he began shooting, and we don't know the motive, but I think that I'm allowed to say things that are true. He wouldn't have been able to murder Colonel Shaw if he hadn't been released early, a policy championed by people on one side of this chamber. He wouldn't have been able to murder Colonel Shaw if he had been detained and deported, having his citizenship status revoked after he was initially convicted of terrorism. He wouldn't have been a student at the Old Dominion University, I believe the third largest commissioner of ROTC cadets in Virginia after VMI and Virginia Tech, if ODU had been allowed to ask him if he were a felon, but they weren't because of policies put forward and voted for by people in this chamber. He broke numerous gun laws. He was a felon in possession of a firearm. That didn't stop him from murdering a hero, Brandon Shaw. There was an obliterated serial number on the firearm. That didn't stop him, that crime, from murdering Brandon Shaw. He committed the shooting in a gun-free zone, which ironically didn't stop him from carrying the gun into the gun-free zone to murder Brandon Shaw. There was a theory that he aspired to commit another Virginia Tech shooting. And so all the legislation that we passed to prevent that did nothing to stop him from murdering Lieutenant Colonel Brandon Shaw. And so the answer, Mr. Speaker, I would submit to my students is not more legislation. In fact, the only person who would suffer a harsher penalty as a result of the work of this General Assembly is the person from whose car the gun that Mohammed Jallow stole was stolen. That person we've made a criminal. Makes no sense. And then, predictably, liberal Commonwealth's attorneys immediately come out and blame the gun. Here's a fact. If there had been a firearm sitting in the classroom on the day of the Virginia Tech shooting, from the day that the building was built until the day that the horrible tragedy occurred, no one would have died if a human being hadn't put that firearm into operation and taken human life. That's a fact. Now we'll digress for a moment to the Michigan synagogue and school shooting. Mohammed Ghazali drives his pickup truck, a vehicle with which some in this chamber aren't familiar, through the gate at the school and synagogue, and opens fire on 2 private security guards who are carrying guns that would be banned by this General Assembly in defense of children, where there is a shooter who seeks to create another Sandy Hook. So the instrumentalities used to defend the lives of those children and prevent another Sandy Hook were the very ones that this chamber would ban. In fact, our legislation is so bad that until I raised a ruckus and stomped my feet about the fact that it intentionally struck from the people allowed to carry firearms against this draconian and dangerous policy were private security guards, that there wouldn't even have been able to be private security guards at the building until the changes made yesterday. Now, I used to carry a Smith & Wesson 642 when I was a member of the Virginia Senate, and I decided the capacity of the magazine wasn't big enough, so I moved to a Glock 23. But I've been disarmed, so now I carry a Civivi Elementum. And why? Because the blade is 2.96 inches, which slips me in under the wire on what I'm allowed to defend myself with in this chamber. I can tell you guys one thing. If a shooter comes in here and starts shooting, you will wish I was armed, trained and experienced as I am, because they will not discriminate based on race or gender or political affiliation. But we have instead chosen to make ourselves unsafe in the name of safety. The irony, Mr. Speaker. Now I'll go to another school shooting, the Appalachian School of Law. I know this will shock you guys, but the delegate from Bedford, I believe, got a law degree from there. There was a school shooting where an immigrant in, I believe, 2003 went onto campus and executed 2 professors and a student, which was stopped before it got worse when 2 students ran to their vehicles and retrieved their personal weapons and neutralized the shooter. Guess what? You guys would make those weapons illegal too. Are we trying to prevent school shootings or have them be more costly so that we can blame the guns and then disarm the populace so that we can continue to do things like stifle free speech before an election? What's the goal here? So yesterday, Mr. Speaker, the delegate from Fairfax said thousands of people are killed crossing the street. And I thought, no way. And I Googled it, and I am willing to admit when I was wrong. She's right. She's right. About 7,500 people per year in this country lose their life in pedestrian situations. Let's compare that to the number of people who lose their lives with military-style assault rifles. You are 21.5 times more likely to lose your life in America crossing the street than you are to a military-style assault rifle, whatever the heck the definition of that is that you guys are using today. 21 and a half times more likely. So I get a little tired, Mr. Speaker, of hearing people appeal to absolute emotion with zero rationale or logic when they say, we don't want our children to be afraid to go to school. They're afraid to go to school because you made them. They should be 21 and a half times more afraid to cross the street, for starters. And if you look at the deaths from assault-style rifles, 95% of those are used by people in the commission of crime against other people engaged in the commission of crime. So they're probably about 250 times more likely to die crossing the street. But we won't tell the truth in this chamber. Well, guess what? I will. Finally, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the courageous ROTC cadets at Old Dominion University. God bless you. People like you made America great. You see, Mr. Speaker, our policy instructed those young men and women to run and hide, to take shelter in place, to get away from the threat. An ODU policy said you can't have a pocket knife on campus unless the blade is less than 3 inches. I have a sneaking suspicion that what we just witnessed was people that not only had the courage to defy a ridiculous, stupid, ill-informed, dangerous school policy to run and hide in place, but also to defy a ridiculous, stupid, uninformed school policy that said that they couldn't have even the simplest elements to defend themselves and others. And so they stood up. And Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, I praise God that there was just enough toxic masculinity in that classroom this week to save the lives of countless others and actually prevent another Virginia Tech. Thank you.
The delegate from Albemarle, Delegate Carlson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. That is a tough act to follow because I am not going to be able to have that amount of fervor. Because the reality is the Guns on College Campus bill has clear exceptions for ROTC, university-sanctioned events, and other areas where a gun is required. So what happened yesterday, which it's sad to me that for a family, he actually graduated from Charlottesville High School. So a family that has not even grieved with facts that we do not even know, that someone could stand up, Mr. Speaker, on this floor and say that he is all about the truth. And Mr. Speaker, the gentleman who said that is not even in the room right now to follow up. So I'm going to say the truth right now, which that bill came to me from university police chiefs who were requesting a way to prevent gun violence on their campuses. They were asking me because there was a shooting where we knew there were guns on college campuses and there was no way, no due process, legal way to go and check and remove those guns before the shooting occurred. So university police chiefs, universities, ROTC, I met with them. We made carve-outs. That would not have prevented, it had nothing to do with the tragedy yesterday. And I guess that's all I really want to say is that facts are facts, so read the bill. It's short, it's sweet, and it's approved by universities and police officers and ROTC programs. And I am so, since I'm up, I'm just going to say it, I am so incredibly sorry for the family of Mr. Shaw. I'm sorry that his name is being used on this floor right now for political purposes, and I hope that his family can grieve in peace and seek solace and reprieve and legal changes that they want when they are ready. And I'm always happy to meet with them.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Cohen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for a point of personal privilege.
The delegate has the floor.
I reckon we were having some conversations about truth, and I rise today to speak on the 3 words that were the focus of a point of personal privilege last week. The words etched into the steel of Virginia and into the heart of our identity, sic semper tyrannis. Thus always to tyrants. When our forefathers chose this motto in 1776, they weren't just picking a catchphrase. They were issuing a permanent warning. They gave us the image of virtue, standing triumphant over a fallen oppressor. It's a reminder that in Virginia, the power of the state is not a birthright of the few, but a temporary lease granted by the many. We have an obligation to be honest about what tyranny looks like in the 21st century. It does not always arrive with a foreign fleet. Sometimes it speaks with a familiar voice from the highest office in our own land. As we look toward the current administration in Washington, we see the hallmarks of the very impulse our motto was designed to resist. When a leader places himself above the law, pressures the levers of justice to serve personal ends, and treats the Constitution as a suggestion rather than a command, we are seeing the modern face of an ancient problem. Donald Trump's approach to governance is not a new brand of politics. It's the old spirit of the autocrat. Sic semper tyrannis is our mandate to act as a check on such overreach, which is exactly why we must support the redistricting amendment. We must show that in Virginia, we do not bow to federal dictates that infringe on the rights of our people. In Virginia, we reject the cult of personality in favor of the rule of law. In Virginia, we recognize that a threat to the democratic process anywhere is a threat to the liberty of Virginians everywhere. In this chamber, we are the stewards of a legacy that predates this republic. We have a moral obligation to name the danger when we see it. If we remain silent while a president flouts the norms of our democracy and seeks unchecked power, then the motto of our flag becomes nothing more than a hollow boast. So let us resolve today that Virginia will remain a bulwark against the ego of any one man. Let us ensure that the individual Virginian remains standing and that any force seeking to subvert their liberty remains, as our motto and state seal dictate, underfoot. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The delegate from Fauquier, Delegate Weber.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for a point of personal privilege.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker and the body, I just would like to say a sincere thank you. I've given a couple of points or I've done a couple of adjournments in the honor and memory of, and a number of us have. And this last one was certainly, for me, and then the one for Yancey as well, poignant, because those are for people that have done great things in our communities and are worthy of that recognition. And I just want to say thank you, because every time we do that, if we as we stand as one, as you have that silence in respect before the gavel hammers, that is a unique and special thing. And Mr. Speaker, I'll tell a story. Your predecessor, the big man right there, I was over there doing some work with the caucus, trying to round up votes or something, and a member on the other side of the aisle was giving an adjournment in the memory of, and I was just quietly talking, but I got a text, and it was, "Sit in your seat." Yes, sir. So I got up, I walked down, sat down, and afterwards I said, "Look, I apologize," and he said, "Mike, one day they'll be doing one about you." And I try to remember that every time. So when somebody from across the aisle who I may not disagree with politically is or asking for us to adjourn in the memory of, I try to sit and I try to pay attention, because you can learn a lot about people, about who they're talking about in their district and their interests, and just out of respect. So, Mr. Speaker and the ladies and gentlemen of this body, the one I gave about Bobby today was, it floored me, and so I just want to say thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The delegate from Henrico, Delegate McQuinn.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise for a point of personal privilege.
The delegate has the floor.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I think we want to ask the individuals who are food service staff if they would come, please. Mr. Speaker, first of all, I'd like to say to you, you have done a great job this session of keeping the chamber in order. Did a great job of bringing the gavel down as well. But those who we really need to thank for getting us through the many hours on the House floor is a wonderful food service worker, Miss Peggy, Christian, and Mary. And I also want to pause and just say to my colleagues, you guys have been so generous, and we really want to thank you for that. Albert Einstein once said, an empty stomach is not a good political advisor. Luckily, thanks to Ms. Peggy, Christian, and Mary, and many other staff, no delegate in this chamber has learned if that's true. Serving food to almost 100 delegates every day is not an easy job, let alone 100 delegates with all kinds of dietary restrictions, allergies, and other preferences. But Miss Peggy, Christian, and Mary, and all of our other food service workers have entered the Capitol every day with nothing but patience and compassion, and that deserves our utmost commendation. It is no exaggeration to say that the food service staff have played instrumental roles in ensuring the best version of ourselves are the ones serving the Commonwealth in this chamber. So, Mr. Speaker, at this time, I want to, along with the rest of us, just stand and give them an amazing applaud and just give them a little token of what they have given to us. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
They're going to the back, but we could not do this without them, so we're very, very appreciative, and I appreciate you guys for showing them the love that you did, not only in your actions here, but in your pocketbook. So thank you so much for making your pockets a little lighter. Appreciate you. The delegate from Arlington, Delegate Lopez.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Rise for a point of personal privilege.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. A few days ago, the Bureau of Labor Statistics released its jobs report for February. It revealed that the U.S. lost 92,000 jobs in 1 month, and the unemployment rate has increased to 4.4%, worse than forecasted. Total job gains from May of 2025 to today are just 19,000. 19,000. That isn't a winning economy. And despite arguments that the private sector job growth would spur the economy, private sector jobs are down 86,000. That's the worst drop since December of 2020 during the pandemic. What's worse, the number of long-term unemployed workers has grown to 1.9 million, up from a year ago, accounting for 25.3% of all unemployed people in February. This report follows the disastrous report from January that said that there were only 181,000 jobs added in all of 2025, which is the worst year for job growth since 2003. That's a stark difference from President Obama's 79 straight month streak of continued job growth, which resulted in 15.8 million total jobs added by the end of his 2 terms. A single mom struggling to put food on the table, a dad whose manufacturing job has disappeared, struggling to pay the mortgage, working Virginia families desperate for more affordable goods and services and struggling to put gas in their cars and find good jobs are being pushed to the brink. Mr. Speaker, Virginia wants policies laser focused on improving the economy. Unfortunately, we're plunged into a war that's wreaking havoc on gas and oil prices, consumer goods, and the stock market, and also dramatically increasing farming costs for fertilizer going into the spring planting season. Virginians are fed up, Mr. Speaker. They're sick and tired of households paying an approximately $2,100 more due to inflation in 2025, including $123 more on electricity costs and $150 more on groceries. Mr. Speaker, thankfully, Virginia House Democrats have worked tirelessly this session on a common sense affordability agenda, from minimum wage increases that Republicans didn't vote for, to making things easier for small businesses that Republicans didn't vote for, to lowering drug costs that Republicans didn't vote for, to protecting workers that Republicans didn't vote for. This session, Governor Spanberger and Virginia House Democrats have proven that we've got the backs of our neighbors who are feeling abandoned, and all without raising taxes. Mr. Speaker, Virginia families deserve an economy that works for everybody. I'm excited about Virginia's future. I'm thankful for the policies that our governor will soon sign into law, and I'm thankful for this House of Delegates doing the right thing. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The delegate from Prince William, Delegate Guzman.
Mr. Speaker, I rise for a motion.
The delegate has the floor.
Can we go to the first morning hour for the purpose of an introduction?
Without objection, the delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to recognize Dreamers Mom in Action and Casa in Action that are with us today. If they could please stand, por favor, de pie. Casa in Action, Dreamers Mom in Action. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. They are here visiting us today, celebrating all of the job that they have been doing throughout this session. They have worked tirelessly to share their personal stories and visiting many of us to ensure that their voices are heard. And they were sharing with us how the policies from Washington, D.C. were impacting the lives of many immigrants that have chosen to live on this Commonwealth. So I would like to thank them for the job that they have done, and also to the members of this House who have voted for the policies that we have passed in this session. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And please, I would like to give them a House warm welcome and thanking them for all the job that they have done this session. Thank you.
The delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Simon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for a point of personal privilege.
The delegate has the floor.
Mr. Speaker, I just want to add one more thank you to the list. I know we've done a bunch of thank yous, but I'm looking at that stack of conference reports, a record number of conference reports that are there. And I just feel like we need to thank our DLS attorneys and the DLS staff here. They've worked so very, very hard for us. They've been running around, hand-delivering things. I mean, getting lawyers to make house calls like that is not a typical thing, and all the multiple changes we've gone through. And they haven't always been fully staffed. They've been covering for each other. You've seen that, and they've been running around, making themselves available. So if y'all are listening out there, DLS attorneys, or you're still busy working on conference reports, I just want to express our deep, deep gratitude for the very hard work that you all do. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you to our DLS staff. The delegate from Lunenburg, Delegate Wright.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for a point of personal privilege, please.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen. I'm speaking this morning in favor of President Trump. He's my president, your president too. And I think he's doing an outstanding job. Can you imagine the pressure he's under, what he's had to put up with? He's been shot at several times. He's got resilience. He's got backbone. He's a man of his word. And look what a friend he is to Israel. He's standing behind Israel. And we're told in the Bible that if we support Israel, our country will be supported. And I think we need to stand behind Israel to the very end. We got people in other parts of this world that want to kill us. We don't seem to realize that. They call us the great Satan and Israel the little Satan. And I take that seriously. When someone says they want to kill you, I think we need to take them at the word. If Iran had nuclear weapons on all those missiles they've got over there, this world would be gone. We stepped in just in time. He's been the only man that's had the nerve to do it. Others have talked about it and said he was going to do it, but they never did it. He closed the southern border. That's been claimed to be done before, never was done. He stopped the flow of fentanyl into our country. He attacked the drug cartels, blowing the boats out of the water, which he should have done. He's defended this country, and I thank God we've got a man in the White House that will stand up and he'll work around the clock for this country. Everybody may not always agree with him and so forth, but I thank God that we've got him. And I thank you very much.
Clerk will call the calendar.
Calendar for today, day 60 of the 2026 regular session, this Saturday, March 14th. Resolutions, regular calendar. There is one in this first category on page 1 of the printed calendar. Senate Joint Resolution 209, confirming appointments by the governor of certain persons communicated to the General Assembly March 6, 2026. Legislation Report Committee on Privileges and Elections.
That from Newport News. Delegate Price.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Senate Joint Resolution 209 is the last for this regular session for the Spanberger administration's appointees. And I would move that we adopt the resolution.
Mr. Speaker.
The delegate for Fairfax, Delegate Simon.
Mr. Speaker, I request that the candidate, the appointee on lines 16 and 17 be severed from the resolution for a separate vote, so a member may abstain.
Delegate from Fairfax moves that.
The appointee on line 16 and 17.
Yes, okay. The delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Simon, moves that lines 16 and 17, the candidate on 16 and 17 be severed. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The motion is agreed to. 16 and 17 are severed so that a member may abstain. Shall the resolution be agreed to? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 96, noes 0, abstentions 1.
Ayes 96, no 0, abstentions 1. The resolution is agreed to with the exceptions of lines 16 and 17.
Now do 16 and 17.
The delegate from Newport News, Delegate Price.
Yes, thank you. I'm sorry, Mr. Speaker. Having voted on the prevailing side by which we adopted Senate Joint Resolution 209 minus lines 16 through 17, I move that we would reconsider that vote.
For the purpose?
For the purpose of a member to correct their vote.
Okay. All those in favor of reconsidering the Senate Joint Resolution 209 will say aye. Those opposed, no. Senate Joint 209 will be reconsidered. Shall the resolution be agreed to with the exceptions of lines 16 and 17? Man, it's hard to believe y'all been here this long. It really is. Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 97, no 0.
Ayes 97, no 0. Senate Joint 209, with the exceptions of 16 and 17, is agreed to. The delegate from Newport News, Delegate Price.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. I now move that we adopt lines 16 through 17.
Shall the resolution be agreed to with just lines 16 and 17? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 96, no 0, abstentions 1.
Ayes 96, no 0, abstentions 1. The resolution is agreed to.
Turning to page 2, new category, memorial resolutions laid on the Speaker's table. There is only one, Senate Joint Resolution 296, celebrating the life of Nicole Guggenheim Yancey.
All those in favor of adopting the memorial resolution laid on the Speaker's table, Senate Joint 296, celebrating the life of Nicole Guggenheim Yancey, will please rise. The resolution is agreed to.
The commending resolutions laid on the Speaker's table have been dispensed with, so then the next category is House bills in conference, followed by Senate bills in conference. I think we have close to 60 conference reports that have been received. So on today's calendar, first conference report, page 2, conference report has been received for House Bill 67. House Bill 67, this conference report involves directing the Director of the Department of Energy to identify and develop training resources to advance workforce development in the offshore wind industry. Conference report is available to the members, to the public, and is now before the body. Or not.
Delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the House stand in recess until 12 noon.
Delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring, moves that the House stand in recess until 12 noon. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The House is in recess until 12 noon.
You're going down.